Hi, welcome to our first devlog for our game. My name is Marcus, I am the lead developer and studio owner of S.T.A.L.K.E.R Studios. Our game, Shadow Project, has been in development for a very long time, and we'd like to take you behind the scenes on what the game is, what it used to be, and what it looks like in the future. Shadow Project at its core is a narrative-focused horror first-person shooter that takes place in the Cold War. The best way I could explain it would be Metro x S.T.A.L.K.E.R x The Forest. Metro for its linear levels and atmosphere, S.T.A.L.K.E.R for its setting and gunplay, and The Forest for its caves and mutants. In terms of narrative structure and pacing, we are most similar to the Metro series, or even the Half-Life series. We have a silent protagonist, but we have NPCs who are fully voiced and can be important to the story. The full game spans across 3 acts, each act taking place in a unique region of the Soviet Union. The first act takes place in Belarus. You'll come across military facilities, abandoned villages, and even exclusion zones post-Chernobyl. The game's main plot revolves around the Soviet Union experimenting on humans and animals to turn them into war machines. You, as a CIA Special Operations agent, are sent in with your squad to Belarus to find out what's underneath the surface. Things are quickly turned on their head to be vague, and the first act is called Before the Storm to signify that. Shadow Project had 3 different prototypes that we made before we landed on our current pitch. The first prototype was co-op only, body cam style horror set only in caves. It's important to note that all of our prototypes had the same idea of Soviet Union, Cold War, experiment, horror. Those were all found in every single one of our prototypes. The first prototype spent the most time in development out of all the other prototypes. This one was challenging as it was the first prototype to have networking. We didn't network any of the other prototypes. The first prototype eventually ended development due to a skill issue. I, for the life of me, could not program AI that networked. I just couldn't. I was 16 at the time when that prototype was made, so reasonably understandable. The second prototype is a very interesting case. It had no direction, essentially. Its only goal was to make a better first-person controller than the first prototype, which it did. It shot more guns, it shot guns a little more satisfying, not a lot more satisfying. They both kind of suck. Here's their comparison. Yeah, so both are pretty awful, I'd say. The second prototype switched between multiple genres. It started as an extraction shooter. I even started to work on networking, but it never got anywhere. It went everywhere. And eventually, 3 months later, after I stopped developing the second prototype, the Holy Grail, the third prototype, the prototype I work in today. The third prototype wasn't always pretty though, or good. It started off pretty similar to the second prototype, gameplay-wise. The gunplay lacked a lot, and mechanically it was relatively the same. The third prototype, which I'll call the main game now, was relatively slow for the first 3 months. It was mostly focused on gunplay, solids, and it also started as a single-player extraction shooter. The third prototype was made in protest to the first two prototypes which had tried to network. I wanted to make a single player game. At this point in development, I thought the game was the shit. I thought the gunplay was amazing. Eventually, I start showing the gameplay to friends and family, and I start getting ridiculed for it. As I should have been. The gameplay wasn't good. It was ugly. And that broke a lot of me, so I went back to the drawing board. And I kept going. The first level of the main game was remade probably about 4 times until we ended up with where we are right now. However, the second level, the cave, has practically stayed the same. The camp in the middle has been remade once, but the structure, the look of it, has stayed the same. Since our demo has been out now for a while, we've now shifted to content production. This means new regions to explore, new weapons, new enemies, and much more. Recently, we've been working on our 4th level. The 4th level is set in an exclusion zone and is still part of the first act. It's set during nighttime and is our biggest level to date. It's much more open than our previous levels, calling back to games such as Metro Exodus. We've also recently added 4 new NPCs/enemies to the game. The first of which, the Scavenger, is mostly found in the 4th level, the Exclusion Zone. Scavengers are mostly found in packs of 4 to 5, rummaging around the Exclusion Zone, trying to make a living. To accompany the Scavengers, we've recently added stray dogs as well. Stray dogs are also found in the 4th level, as in real life they are very common in the Belarus Exclusion Zone. All the dogs are friendly, and they have a great relationship with the Scavengers, something you might not have. I'd also like to highlight one of our new weapons, the SP Dragunov, which has forced our hand into adding scopes into the game. We've engineered them in such a way that we can maintain good performance and hopefully good visuals too. They're not picture-in-picture, but we hope they're somewhat close. And that will be it for our first devlog. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, you can wishlist Shadow Project on Steam. If people like this video, we'll make more devlogs. If not, then this will be our first and last devlog. I hope you enjoy. Bye bye.